The Holy Land in turmoil, a sign of the end? The world watches with bated breath. The conflict in Israel rages on, a stark reminder of the volatility of the Middle East. But for many Christians, this conflict represents something far greater. It's a possible sign of the end times, a fulfillment of ancient prophecies foretold in the Bible. The very land where Jesus walked is now a battleground. Israel, a nation reborn from the ashes of history, finds itself surrounded by enemies. Hamas fires rockets from Gaza, Hezbollah threatens from the north, and now Iran, a nation openly calling for Israel's destruction, has launched a direct attack. These events have sent shockwaves through the Christian world. Could this be the beginning of the tribulation period spoken of in the book of Revelation? Is the world witnessing the fulfillment of biblical prophecy before our very eyes? The answers are complex. Theological debate rages on. But one thing is certain, the situation in Israel is a stark reminder of the spiritual battle taking place for the soul of mankind. Iran's direct attack on Israel was a watershed moment. The Islamic Republic has shown its true colors. This act has intensified the belief among some Christians that the end times are near. Iran's attack fits into a larger pattern of escalating tensions. The ancient prophecies speak of a time when Israel will be surrounded by enemies. Nations will rise up against the chosen people of God. Ezekiel describes a future invasion of Israel by a coalition led by Gog and Magog. Many see Iran as a key player in this end-time scenario. The recent attack lends credence to this view. Iran, with its radical ideology, fits the description of a nation aligned against God's people. The prophetic fire has been fanned into a blaze.
The events we're witnessing are deeply unsettling, but also profoundly significant.
The prophecy of Gog and Magog has captivated Bible scholars and prophecy enthusiasts for centuries. Found in Ezekiel 38 and 39, it depicts a massive military coalition, led by a mysterious figure called Gog, descending upon Israel. Could the current conflict be the initial stages of this prophesied battle? Some believe so. They point to the growing alliance between Iran, Russia, and other nations hostile to Israel. They see the rhetoric of these nations, their military buildup, and their shared animosity towards Israel as ominous signs. The prophecy speaks of a time when Israel will be living in relative peace before a sudden attack. While Israel enjoys periods of calm, the constant threat of terrorism suggests a fragile peace, a coalition of nations aligned against Israel, a time of heightened tension and instability, a prophecy that speaks of a final climactic battle. The pieces seem to be falling into place.
It's important to approach these prophecies with a balanced perspective. While the similarities are striking, we must be cautious in drawing direct correlations. Prophecy can be complex and multi-layered. Nonetheless, the situation in Israel invites deeper reflection on these ancient texts.
Section 4. A time for peace, or a prelude to war. While the current conflict in Israel has fueled end-time speculation, not all Christians interpret the situation in the same way. There are differing opinions within the church about the timing and nature of Christ's return and the events that will precede it.
Some theologians argue that certain preconditions outlined in biblical prophecy have yet to be met. For example, some believe that a time of global peace and security will precede the rise of the Antichrist and the tribulation period. Others point to the need for a rebuilt Jewish temple in Jerusalem, a structure that currently does not exist.
These differing interpretations highlight the complexities of biblical prophecy. While the Bible offers glimpses into the future, it does so in a way that is often symbolic and open to interpretation. The exact timing and sequence of events remain shrouded in mystery.
However, regardless of their eschatological views, all Christians can agree on the importance of prayer and support for Israel. The Jewish people are God's chosen people, and their fate is inextricably linked to the plan of God for all humanity.
Section 5. Standing with Israel, a call to prayer and action. The situation in Israel is a clarion call to prayer. The Bible instructs Christians to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and that command has never been more urgent than it is today.
We must intercede on behalf of Israel, asking God for His protection, His provision, and His peace. But our support for Israel must go beyond words. We must be willing to stand with Israel in practical ways.
This includes advocating for Israel's right to exist and defend itself, challenging anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism wherever it rears its ugly head, and supporting organizations that provide humanitarian aid to those caught in the crossfire of conflict.
The conflict in Israel is a spiritual battle, a struggle between good and evil, light and darkness. As Christians, we cannot afford to be passive observers. We must stand firm in our faith, rooted in the Word of God, and be a beacon of hope and support for Israel in its hour of need. The fate of Jerusalem, the fate of the Middle East, and indeed, the fate of the world, may very well hang in the balance.